Welcome back, guys. We're going to do another flow sequence that we call tabletop flow. So I want Sarah, can you just come into a position of all fours for me? So this is often called 4 points of contact. It's actually 6 because the toes are touching the ground. But notice that Sarah's hands are directly under her shoulders. Can you just move them forward a bit for me, your hands? So now can you see that her shoulder and her hands don't line up? So what we want is for them to come back again. So it's really important that the wrists, the bend of the wrist is directly under the shoulder. Okay, it's the same with her knees. Her knee and her hips in a nice alignment here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get Sarah to just push her chest out a little bit, which is going to create this nice flat point on her body. And then just to drop the head just a little. So it's this nice flat table. I could sit here and eat dinner. Not going to though. So what we're doing in our tabletop posture, this is a posture or an asana of its own, okay? So it's about squaring the shoulders, it's about aligning the hips and keeping them nice and square as well. Now when we do a tabletop flow, we incorporate a few other postures into it. So the first one I'm going to show you is Sarah's going to extend her left leg out nice and straight, and she's going to lift a little higher for me. Beautiful. And then she's going to lift the right arm, palms facing up. So she hasn't lost the line. She's got this nice long line coming all the way down and all the way forward. She's not lifting her head and her back is nice and strong here. Now, when you first try this, you want to hold it just for 3 or 4 breaths because it's quite a difficult posture to hold. And release for me, Sam. Nice, and then you come back to the center and then change sides. So extending the right leg out. So we don't want her leg too high because what happens is she dips at the front then. So we want to keep the leg nice and level. Point the toe for me, Sarah, and extending the other arm out. It is a tricky posture to hold. And it's about keeping the hips level. And just holding. Now the beautiful thing about having an instructor handy is that they can help correct your posture, okay? So this is where I encourage people to video themselves, or if you can do it in front of a mirror, that is fantastic. And release. Okay, now we're going to incorporate that with a few breaths where we're going to reach for the inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to bring the elbow to the knee. So if you can demonstrate that for me, Sarah, that'd be great. So we're going to take the left leg out. Oh, yep. Right leg out. So she's reaching out for the inhale, and then the exhale, she's bending, bringing the knee through, and the elbow and the knee touch. And then inhale. So in effect, we're giving ourselves a nice tummy crunch. And exhale. She never lets the knee hit the ground. One more. Inhale and exhale. And she keeps this nice, flat, even pace going all the time, all right? So she's breathing evenly in and out, her back staying as level as it can. I mean, she is moving a little bit, but it's about keeping the back as flat as possible. And as you'll see when she demonstrates on the other side, the knee comes all the way through. She doesn't allow it to touch the ground. It has like a tummy crunch effect. So what I want you to do on the exhale, I want you to really breathe all of the air out of your diaphragm, which enables you to get that nice crunch in that lower part of the belly. So when you're ready, Sarah, we'll do the other side. Just 3 breaths today. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Good job. Last one. Inhale and exhale. And release. Beautiful. So, you'll notice that you'll wobble when you're doing this, and it's because it's difficult to hold. It's not a natural posture to be doing. And the other thing is, guys, it's left and right brain activity. You're working the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain at the same time, because anytime we work opposite angles of the body, it requires both sides of the brain to be engaged in that thought process. You're also thinking about your breathing, you're also counting, you're also thinking about expelling all the air from your belly to create that tummy crunch feeling. So you're very connected to yourself in that process. And that's one of the beautiful things about yoga. The next one that I'm going to show you is what we call tiger pose. So if you can lift your left leg up for me, Sarah, and we want a bent knee. And she's going to lift her head this time and lift the chin right up, and she's got a bit of a sinking down going on here. And she's pointing the toe for me. Perfect. Now this works your butt like nobody's business. You're going to have a fantastic hamstring from that. You're going to have that nice perky bottom if that's what you're looking for. And this is our tiger pose. This is what gives us that. So we want to hold that for anywhere between 3 and 5 breaths. If you're really strong, then you want to extend it out. The beautiful thing about yoga is that you can work to your own pace. Now from here, Sarah's going to extend the leg out nice and straight. We're going to flex the foot this time. And bringing the head back down. And dropping the hip down just a little more. Nice. So she's got that nice straight line going again, okay? Still working. The flexing of the foot causes the knee to straighten. This is what creates this butt muscle here to do so much work, and the hamstring stays engaged the whole time, as well as the quad. But this side, this leg that's supporting you, that's going to feel a bit too. So, you know, just be observing where it's happening for you. And gently release. Notice how when I say gently release, Sarah actually gently releases. Okay, it's really important that we relax as we're coming out of a posture. We're careful getting into them, we're careful coming out of them. If you collapse out of a posture, my suggestion to you is that you've held it too long and you have not practiced that primary principle of ahimsa, which is kindness and compassion to yourself. Now, yoga is all about balance, so we can't do one side without doing the other. So if you're ready for it, Sarah, I'll get you to extend into tiger pose for me on the right side now. So again, that nice pointed toe, she's looking forward, the chin's out. She's got nice square shoulders here, the arms are straight. This bottom cheek closest to me, the right butt cheek's getting a nice workout. The higher you can lift that without lifting the hips, the greater the workout on the hamstring and the bottom. And then we're going to extend the leg nice and straight. Beautiful, drop it down a little for me. And drop the hip for me. Nice. Notice she dropped the head as well. And she's got that nice straight line happening again. And one more breath. And gently release. Okay, so this is really good for the bottom and the legs, but the tummy also gets a bit of a workout, and so do the wrists, the shoulders, and the arms, okay? It's very, very rare to find a yoga asana that doesn't work the entire body, especially with the ones that I'm going to give you, because I like all the muscles to be engaged. If we're going to do some form of exercise or stretch, we may as well get as much benefit for the entire body is my theory and principle. But having said that, I understand the importance of being able to isolate certain movements for certain purposes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a bit of a flow. So Sarah, I want you to do 3 breaths of tabletop for me, and then we're going to do 3 and hold, and then we're going to come into tiger for 3, and then we're going to extend it back with a flex foot for 3 more, okay? So when you're ready, we'll begin. So we're going to inhale and exhale, elbow to knee, and inhale and exhale, elbow to knee. Last one, inhale and exhale, elbow to knee, and inhale and hold. So she's holding it for 3 breaths here. And Sarah's got great breathing. Right from the first time I trained with her, she always had an even duration of breath, which has been really lovely. She's been able to maintain that all the way through. Beautiful. Bring the arm down, lifting the leg up. We're going to bend the knee and point the toe and lift the head. So straight into tiger pose. 2 more breaths. Beautiful. Just got that nice straight line going again. One more breath. And gently release. Now from here, I want you to come down into what we call child's pose. So just allowing the knees to come apart a little as you're resting down in it. This is a variation of child's pose where we can bring the arms out. And the reason we put the knees apart as we come down into it is to allow room for our bellies to just relax. We can also do child's pose where we bring the arms down either side of the body and the backs of the hands just rest on the floor. So whatever's comfortable for you. Some people don't like to do child's pose like this, but it's about comfortability and working within your limitations or with what your body needs. I don't like the word limitation much, but I use it to describe where you're at right now, because remember, yoga is a journey. Anything to do with health and wellness, there's a starting point, but the difference between wellness and being healthy is there's no finishing point. It becomes a lifestyle, it becomes a way of life. You'll hear people say, I was so healthy in my 20s, or I was so healthy in my 30s. And life gets busy, and what happens is the more busy we get in life, the less care and attention we give to ourselves. And this is when we compromise our health and our wellness, and we usually do it for our job or for the almighty dollar, making lots of money, or making enough to survive and get by. Just depends on where you're at. So I want to encourage you guys to look at your story of your life to be one of maintaining your wellness throughout your life. Some of the guys that are my students, they only come to yoga once a week for an hour. That's where they give to themselves. There's 168 hours in a week, but for one of those hours, it's about them and nothing else. And the minute they walk in the door, it's their time, their space, their nurturing. All right. When you're ready, Sarah, come up and we'll do the other side. Okay. So remember, we're starting our tabletop. We're doing 3 breaths. And here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now inhale and hold. Beautiful. Pointing the toe allows the stretch to come down the top of the foot and down the front of the shin. And one more breath. Good. And lifting. Beautiful. Drop the hip a little for me. There you go. Lift the head. Nice. One more breath. And extending the leg. Dropping the head. Just lifting the leg a little higher. One more breath. And gently release and come back to child's pose. So that's what we call a tabletop flow. It also incorporates tiger pose into it because I really like the way that works our bottom muscles. A starting place, guys, is 3 breaths. That's a long period of time. In each asana, you're holding 4 different asanas, so technically it's 12 breaths either side, which equates to about a minute, and then another minute on the other side, depending on how slow or fast you breathe. I want to encourage you to really slow your breathing down, be very purposeful. Traditionally, Hatha yoga is in and out through the nose, but when you're starting out, sometimes it really helps if you inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth, and it just allows you to give purpose to your breath, to allow you to consciously slow it down because you can hear it really clearly. There are other styles of breathing in Hatha yoga. There's things like breath of fire. That's a whole other ball game in itself. What I'm talking about here is where your starting point is, and learning how to breathe, learning how to slow your breath down, learning how to stay connected to your body and observing what you feel in that process. All right, So that concludes this segment, and I'll see you in the next vid, guys. Namaste.